When I first started on YouTube, things weren't like they are now. Ads played on pretty much every video. Nothing I had ever got demonetized, regardless of how controversial or vulgar it was. I could pretty much say anything and it was fine. But then just recently, within the last 6 months or so, YouTube decided that anything that wasn't family friendly wasn't going to be able to show ads. It means that I can't make money off the kinds of videos that I've been making. At this point, most of my videos have been demonetized, and I've tried to appeal on some, but it doesn't go through. So I've gotten used to the fact that I won't be making anything off of YouTube directly. Most people, including myself, would agree that this sort of moderation or censorship, whatever you want to call it, is stupid and shouldn't be done. Now, most social media has kind of followed this trend. Basically, they don't want certain opinions on there, or they've started cracking down on things they don't see as in line with their corporation's values. And Twitch is one of those sites. As you probably know, I've started streaming daily on Twitch, and one thing with that site is that you can get in trouble for what people say in your chat. Basically, they expect you to moderate it. With YouTube, it doesn't matter what comments people leave. As far as I know, I'll never get my channel deleted for something someone said in a comment. So there's really no point in me moderating it. But with Twitch, suddenly I have to moderate it if I want to keep streaming. But as I said, I don't really like moderation. I think people should be able to be free to say whatever they want. As far as slighting someone goes, words are basically the least dangerous thing you can do. Now, some people might disagree with that and say that words are dangerous or saying something mean is the same as physical violence, and to that I say, grow some thicker skin or learn to use the ignore button. At least, that's what I thought. That's what I thought I believed. That's what I always told people, but I guess I never thought that I would be in a place of power, and that's what it is. I control what people can and can't say on my Twitch channel, and suddenly things are a little different. If I don't moderate, then I could lose my channel. But even if those weren't the rules, if I don't moderate people and don't mute them or kick them when they're being a disturbance to others, I end up losing more people. And overall my goal is to grow and bring in a larger audience. If I do nothing about it, most of the nice but easily offended people would just leave, and then I'd be left with a toxic, hateful, small community. And that's not what I want. At the same time, I don't really believe in censoring people in my Twitch chat, but I kind of have to if I want to keep a large, friendly community. So my point is, what do I do? What do you do when your code of ethics conflicts with your livelihood and your hobbies? And should censorship on YouTube and other social media be allowed? Well, first I need to talk about freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is a misunderstood concept. It's unfortunate, especially today, with all the claims of racism and hate speech and people getting fired for saying things on social media and different opinions on what should and shouldn't be said. Now, as far as I understand, freedom of speech means that you are free of legal consequence for your speech, meaning yelling something profane at someone won't get you arrested. Unless something has recently changed, in America there are no hate speech laws. That is what freedom of speech means. However, there is another side to it, and this is what we call social consequence. So while you can't be arrested for saying something racist, you can still be shunned or disliked for doing it. It's within people's rights to choose who they associate with, and if they choose to sever ties with someone who says things they don't like, they are allowed to do that. And I like this. Just as people should be allowed legally to say whatever they want, other people should be legally allowed to disassociate themselves from whoever they want. There's also something in America called freedom of assembly, and it basically means that you are allowed to get together with people who have similar ideas as you and talk about those ideas and even be public with those ideas, no matter what those ideas are. As long as you aren't doing anything illegal, you can have a club for whatever you want with whatever rules you want. Now, a corporation is a little different in some ways, but legally they have most of the same rights as a person, and this includes the freedom to have whatever rules they want, once again, as long as it's legal. The government can't take those rights away, and I don't believe they should be able to. In a lot of ways, a company is like a club, and people outside of it can't really tell them how to run their club. Now, certainly if they want their business to succeed, they should cater to those who will help them succeed. In most cases, that's going to be the people who give them money. Now, how does this relate to YouTube and Twitch and censorship? Well, while I obviously don't like that my videos have become demonetized, I understand why YouTube has done it. The companies that give them money, the advertisers, don't want their ads running on videos that they don't see as reflecting their values. Now, this is stupid. No one watches the Coke commercial before a video about bestiality and then makes the assumption that Coke must support bestiality, but, like I said earlier, companies are allowed to be stupid and have their own stupid rules. And YouTube needs to follow those stupid rules or YouTube doesn't get any money from those advertisers. Which means if I don't follow those same stupid rules, I don't get any money from YouTube. And this may be an unpopular opinion, but I completely understand. The reason that I haven't appealed most of my demonetization claims is because I know those videos aren't advertiser friendly, and frankly, I should actually be thanking YouTube for letting me upload my videos even though YouTube makes no money off of them, because it still costs them money to host all those videos. Now, what about Twitch? Well, it's pretty much the same thing. Twitch has a certain set of values, and those values are determined by the advertisers who pay them. Therefore, they must enforce those values onto people who use their site. And I must enforce those values onto the people who talk in my channel, even if I don't agree with said values. Now, something can be said for making a stand, that is, not following the rules in order to promote my own values and my own belief that people should be allowed to say whatever they want without social consequence. If I did that, then I'd lose my platform and become sort of a martyr for the cause. So the question is, am I dedicated enough to my cause, if we can call it that, to be a social martyr? And I would say, no. I'm not willing to give up my platform on YouTube and Twitch, and there are a few reasons. One being that I'm not that popular. I wouldn't make much of an impact. My martyrdom wouldn't be remembered a few years from now, probably wouldn't even be remembered a few months from now. So I would basically be losing my income and my hobby for no reason. Maybe someday, if I have millions of subscribers, it might be worth it, but even then people would probably forget who I was in a few years. Secondly, I believe in honoring agreements, and one of those agreements when I signed up for Twitch was to follow the rules, which includes making others follow the rules. In fact, if I really believed in my cause, I wouldn't have signed up for something where I have to follow rules I don't believe in the first place. Which means I'd have no platform and no voice, so in a weird sort of way it's actually better for my cause that I only kind of believe in it, because now at least I can talk about it. This is especially true with YouTube. What you guys don't know is that I only go maybe 50% in my YouTube videos. If I went 100% with my opinions, I'd be banned from YouTube. Furthermore, as I said, I believe in a company or group's right to disassociate themselves from whoever they want. So by me saying that they shouldn't be allowed to censor me, I'm saying that they shouldn't have rights. Another main concern is the money. One thing I don't really understand about the general YouTube public is that any attempt from a creator to make some money is seen as a bad thing. People need to realize that if they want to continue seeing videos from a creator, that creator needs money. If he doesn't get money to live off of from making videos, then he'll need to find a job doing something else, which means less time to make videos. I don't see things like having a Patreon or accepting donations or doing sponsored videos as a bad thing. Viewers don't have to donate money, they don't have to watch sponsored videos. As long as the creator does those things in addition to their regular content instead of replacing their regular content, then it's okay. And even if they started changing the way they do their content to appeal to a bigger crowd or get past YouTube's demonetization rules, it's hard to fault them for that. They need to adapt in order to make money to continue doing this as a job or even a hobby, because it can be an expensive and time-consuming hobby. It really becomes an issue of compromise. Take for example the YouTube animators. Changes in the way YouTube works was pretty much the death of animators. They all became Let's Players in order to actually make some money. And while I understand some people being upset that they aren't making as many animations anymore, I also understand why they did it. It's hard to find fault in that. But when does money become a problem? Let's take this scenario for example, and this is a realistic scenario. I haven't quite experienced it myself, but I've heard horror stories. Let's say that you are a content creator and you open up a Patreon. Someone who really likes your work and has way too much money on their hands starts pledging $1,000 a month. Well, that's great, you're actually making a decent amount all of a sudden. But you start relying on that $1,000 to pay your bills. Now, this donator is on your Discord server, they leave comments on all your videos, and they are in all of your Twitch streams. But the problem is, they're kind of a jackass. They're mean to people, they say nasty things, they drive people away, people are always complaining about them. But you know that if you scold them too much or delete their comments or kick them off the Discord, you're going to lose that money. And you need that money. What do you do? Now, at one point I would have said, if they are that much of a nuisance, then obviously you kick them. Screw the money, right? I'm going to stick to my ethics. Well, it's nice to think that way, but one thing that life has taught me is that when things actually happen, it's different. Everyone thinks they're going to be the one who stands up for what they believe in, but when the time comes, it's rarely the case. When it's your income and your hobby and your passion on the line, do you stick to your ethical code? Do you compromise or do you make a stand? I've spent a lot of time thinking about this, and honestly, I don't know what to do. I don't know the answers. And unfortunately, by not having a firm stance one way or another, it means my decisions will be inconsistent. And while I don't like that, maybe that's just how it has to be. And speaking of alternate ways of monetizing, I'm trying out a new section of my videos where high-paying patrons get to be a part of them. Today's thoughts come from Kunix, who says, "I feel like there are very few jobs where you don't have to sacrifice something in order to make a living. At the end of the day, everyone is just trying to get by. If you have enough money, you can do whatever you want, but if you're just an average Joe, then you gotta make a living however you can. YouTube and Twitch may seem like just fun and games, but it's a job for some people, and you always have to think about your bottom line." Because we live in a corporatist country, it's really those corporations that set up our moral standards. Basically, if you want to succeed financially, you have to appeal to the people who have money. I would say that most people who work for someone else probably don't agree with every policy that company has, but they follow those rules and even enforce those rules anyway because, as Kunix said, they are just trying to get by. But is it the right thing to do? I don't know, how do you even measure rightness? Tech Controller says, "Furries were a mistake that only copious amounts of fire can fix." Good. Glad we're doing this section now. What a great idea this was. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm Cothrix, and you have a wonderful day. Hey everyone, this is just a reminder that I do gameplay streams on Twitch at 9 PM Eastern every weekday. And if you want to get a hold of me, the best way is through Twitter. Finally, I want to thank those of you who support me on Patreon and Twitch. You make all of this possible.